Let me ask you a question. Are you tired of worrying about what the future holds, especially as you get older? What if I told you that the secret isn't trying to hang on and fight against time, but just changing your perspective from one of pessimism to one of joy? And I know that's easier said than done, but I'm going to show you in this video how to do it so that your perspective is one of lightheartedness and of humor. And that's really what this channel is all about. Hello and welcome to Hanging Out with Popsy Guy, where we talk wisdom, experience, encouragement, and humor. And all of those themes are going to be discussed in today's video, so I hope you stick around. As you know, I love quotes, and one of my favorite quoteurs is Winston Churchill. And he said, and let me quote him, "Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference." Now, you've heard that throughout your whole life, and you're like, yeah, I get it. And you even taught it to your own kids, and you're teaching it to your grandchildren now. But what happens to us as we get older? I don't know what it is, but it seems like we become more pessimistic. The sky is always falling, but it's not us. It's what we consume. And I wanted to start this video out by confessing. And the confession is that as a new YouTuber and wanting to grow my channel, I get kind of hung up between what people really want to hear about, all these sensational how-tos and the hacks in life. But you know what? If you followed this channel for any time, you know I'm a contrarian. I don't go the way everybody else goes, and I certainly don't want to fall into that trap. Let me make sure my mic is actually on. See, this is YouTube all over again. Haha, I think it is. So Winston Churchill said it's a small thing, but it's a big thing, right? So stop watching. Here it is. Now I'm ad-libbing this. I had notes. Throw the notes out the window. Stop watching the news, right? News stands for not even worth seeing. Every time we turn on the TV, we're going to get the worst of the worst, right? At the end of ABC News Tonight, David Muir says, and here's a lighthearted thing. Well, he just shoved 30 minutes of deep, dark stuff down my throat, and I'm going to get 15 seconds of lightheartedness. How is that going to help me improve my perspective? It's not. So getting back to what this channel is all about, it's wisdom, experience, encouragement, and humor. So the first suggestion is change your perspective from worrying about what the future holds into holding on to what you have right now, looking back at your experiences, and maybe telling stories of when you screwed up, maybe when you made mistakes. We just had friends visit us for a few days, and that's what we did. We said, you remember when we were we were talking about when we were our kids' ages, which is in the the low 30s, 32, 33. And we laughed, right? That helps. That's a belly laugh that helps. It's like medicine. So change your perspective from doom and gloom and watching the news to telling stories. And tell stories to people that get it. And don't try to continually tell stories to people that don't care, right? When you're talking and somebody else is looking away or looking at their phone or just nodding at the time they think they should be nodding, stop talking. Just stop and see what happens. They'll look up and say, what were you saying? That to me is a life-sucking experience that you need to change. Stay away from people that suck the life out of you. If you've got friends that can tell jokes, man, those are the people that you need in your life right now. Let's see, what else do I have here? So what I've done, and this is a practical step that maybe you want to do too, is go look for humor, right? When you're flipping through the channels, whether it's YouTube or what have you, I think YouTube gives us a little bit more control. We can search for funny things like dry bar comedy. I think that's hilarious. But when you're on regular cable TV or network TV, there's very little humor. The humor is really a sitcom where the family is dissed. There's usually not a dad in the picture. So I stay away from that stuff. I go purposefully looking for funny stuff. I want to laugh. I don't want to have a political statement forced on me when I'm not really into it. That's one of the ways. And I like quotes. As you well know, my other favorite quote guy is Yogi Berra. Yogi says, if you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. Now, the simplicity in that is beyond description. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up someplace else. So be very intentional about what you consume, what media comes into your house, and what things come into your mind. As you know, I'm a Christian. One of the things I love to do is spend time in the Word. I have a biblical worldview. I know how things are going to end up. But along the way, I want to enjoy the journey, right? There's no sin in enjoying life abundantly, as it says in Scripture. We're given life to enjoy abundantly. So I've decided that I want to find humor, wisdom, experience. I want to learn from other people. That's what I love about building this community is you all will send me humorous things, encouraging things. I love the encouragement. Thank you so much for that. Because doing a YouTube channel, if you're not doing one on your own, it can get pretty lonely. Yeah, there's communities that we're all involved in, which are excellent for us to commiserate and talk about strategy and ideas. But what I really love is building the community of people who hang out with Popsy Guy and say, yep, you nailed that one, man. I thought I was the only one that thought that way, but you talked about it. So keep that in mind too. That's something else I think that is very, very important to growing old in a way where you're not like your grandparents were. If you had old grumpy grandparents, one of the things you want to do is remember what they were like if you had them, and don't do that. Your grandkids don't need to see that. So the other guy that I love to talk about, and I've done that in a couple of videos, is Stephen Wright. He's a Boston comedian, and he comes up, I've actually got it on my phone, his top 35 quotes. And the first one that always pops up, you're gonna love this one. I would kill for a Nobel Peace Prize. I find personally, words like that, I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but words mean things, and when people use them intentionally to make a joke, I think it's hilarious. I'd kill for a Nobel Peace Prize. But Stephen also said, and this is something as we get older, I intend to live forever. So far, so good. The other part of what I'm attempting to do, and hopefully this is being passed along to you as well, is to leave a legacy. We all have known people who have passed away. Some have passed away very hard. You know, it's tough to watch. They struggle and struggle and struggle, and then they pass. And then if you're fortunate enough to have met people who are graceful in their dying, and I know that sounds so hard to fathom. If you haven't experienced it, I'm hoping that you do. When you see somebody who is full of peace and knows where they're going once their heart stops beating, they have a difference about them. And that's really what I would like to be when I fade out. But until then, I want to be this way, and I want you to be this way too. Take the contrarian route. Stop watching things that bring you down. Start being and watching things that encourage you. Use, as I said, your own wisdom. You've got years and years of experience. And by encouraging other people, by lifting them up, you lift yourself up as well. So I went completely off of the notes. One of the things that you'll probably learn about me if you stick around and hang out with Popsy Guy a little longer is I'm an ad-libber. When an idea comes to me, I just kind of fly with it. And all the YouTube gurus are saying, no, you should have it scripted out. You should probably have bullet points on a screen that people can follow. And I probably should do all those things. But then when I get to do them, I don't like it. It's not me. So hopefully this means something to you, that you can unleash yourself from pessimism by unplugging the TV. If you have to watch TV, do what I do. Get onto YouTube and search intentionally for things that will lift you up and give you encouragement. And that's what I'm hoping this message does. It lifts you up, it gives you encouragement, and it gives you permission to go out and find a way to laugh. Life is serious, but it ain't that serious. So until we meet again, thanks for hanging out with Popsy Guy, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.